For this video, we're going to look at the views of three-dimensional objects and how they can change depending if you're looking from the top, angle, the back, the right, front, and left. You kind of have to use your imagination a little bit for this activity. So here I have shown a three-dimensional object drawn, and I have the different views that we would see if we were looking at it from this perspective, right? So from the front view, we would just see this part here. If we're looking at it directly on the front, you wouldn't see, we're basically imagining you wouldn't be able to see any depth. So only the blocks. From the top view, if you're looking from the top, we have the three along each part, the top and bottom. You wouldn't see this part sticking up because, again, we're imagining that you're not seeing any depth. From the right side view, from over here, you can see that I would have two along here. And then I would have, from on the left, that would go up two, right? From those two blocks. From the left-hand view over here, again, very similar to the right-hand view, only this time on the right, those two blocks would be extended up. And from the back, we've exactly the same as the front view because, again, we're imagining we're not seeing any depth. So from looking at it from the back, you would see those three in the bottom and then two sticking up. So you can match each view listed above with the object on the left, which is what we just did. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Again, maybe you can go back and just double check to make sure all those views make sense based on the object. Now let's look at some examples. We're going to circle the object, circle the 3D object that matches with all the views shown. Okay, so for part A here, I have a front, top, and right side view. So from the front view, I have this kind of arch shape. And I mean, we can rule out all the rest of them right away. You know exactly what it's going to be. The top view is going to be these three. Now, the top view matches both this one over here. First of all, the front view only matches this one. Okay, but the top view actually matches that one and the third one. Because if you can imagine seeing from the top, you would see, without any depth, you would see that square, and this square, all on the same level, as it were. And this view for the right side view only matches, again, this one here. So we know that this one has to be the object that's being shown. Part B here, the top view. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 by 2 kind of grid here. If we look at the first object, that's only one, that's a 3 by 3. So that one is out. This one is out because it's missing some in here. Again, the only one it kind of matches is this one here. So we know that's the object, but let's look at the other two perspectives. So from the right side, looking at it from the right side, if I was looking at this one from the right side here, I would see these three squares there and then one up there to match that one on top. So it would actually, from the right side on this one, would actually look like this. You'd have three on the bottom and then one in the center, right? If you could imagine that. But because it doesn't match that one, and then the left side view, of course, you can see this one here, you would have very similar to the right side view. You'd have the three squares with one on the top or one in the middle. But again, the only one this matches is this one here. You can even see from the right side, it matches it directly. You can see the squares that it matches. And from the left side view, it's a little more difficult, but you can see that the one that's raised, if I'm looking at it from the left, would be the one on the left. Right? The one on the left, not the right, would be the one that's raised if we're not dealing with perception. So that's that one there. Okay, let's try just a couple more just to kind of really drive this point home. So the top view, we have three. Well, it's definitely not that one. That one's out. The top view 3, that one fits. The top view 3, this one would be actually 1, 2, 3, 4. So we know right away this one has to be it. We can see from the right side, you would see this square and that square. And from the left side, you would just see those two squares there, right? From that actual left side. Next one, the back view. Ooh, this one's a little more complicated, but we can kind of rule these out right away. Like this one, the back view would be a solid bunch of squares, 3 on the bottom, 2 in the next row, and then 1 in the top middle. So this one doesn't match that one at all. And if you look at the top view and the left view, the top view of this one doesn't match either because you'd have 4. This only has 3. This one has 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 jutting out there. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, but it has 3 jutting out on the far right side. So that one is out. All these views, and this one, of course, the left side view, It might be none of them. I mean, it could be. But the left side view here, we have 1, 2, 3, and then one jutting out on the front. We can see that one there. Hopefully you can imagine what these things would look like. What if you're asked to draw the views, though? Then it becomes a little more complicated, right? So now you're asked, now we've looked at matching, which can be kind of easy. But now you have to draw the views. They say, okay, well, you draw the front view, the top view, and the right side view. So this object here, the front view is probably the easiest one. So if you wanted to start with that one, if they give you an option, you can see right away it's going to be like this kind of S shape. So you have 2 on the top, 3 there, and then 1 more on the bottom. Right? So 2 on the top, 2 squares on the top. Then we have 1, 2. We don't even need that next one. And then we have the back one like that. Kind of this S shape. So 1, 2, 3 in the middle, and then 1 tail on the right side at the bottom. The top view, if I was looking at it from the top, you would only see 1, 2, 3 cubes, and that's it. And they'd all be in a row. Oops. So you'd see 3 cubes, and they'd all be in a row. The right side view from this side, you'd see 1, 2, 3, and again, they'd be straight up and down. There's nothing jutting out. So you'd have 3 all in a row, just like that. Let's move to the next one, this small little object. So the top view of this one, you would see this part here, you would see that cube there, and you'd see this cube over there, just the square faces. So you'd have a square right next to it, and then 1 square jutting out on the bottom. So if you were to draw that kind of more neatly, you could make it look like, if you think of these, if you've ever played Tetris before, this kind of makes a lot of sense. So 2 there, and then 1 more on the bottom. The right side view, you would see these 2 faces here, and that top one jutting out on the right side. So you'd have those 2 faces along the bottom, and then you had that one sticking up on the right-hand side. Left side view would be very similar. You'd have 2 blocks on the left-hand side, and then you'd have 1 jutting out on the right-hand side for this. If you can see that face right there, you'd be able to see. So there are some more complex examples below. I'm going to let you maybe look at these and try to figure them out on your own, about the top view, right side view. But basically, just make sure that you can see the object from the different perspectives. And make sure that you can draw, and also make sure that you can match up different views with different objects as well. So hopefully that gives you enough information. Again, these last 2 I'll leave for you. You can pause the video and try to draw them yourself. And then maybe you can email me if you want to know exactly what they should look like. So hopefully that helps with this section.